looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. You would think by now I know how to do this with no technical issues, but I don't. It's round six. Welcome, everybody, here to round six here in FRL. If this looks a little different, it's because, well, I had to do a full PC wipe last week after the stream, so haven't had time to get everything set back up, but here we are. We're all ready to go. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday so far. I know it's evening for some people, it's afternoon for others. Hope wherever you are, you're having a great day. This is our split two race. If you're new to FRL, welcome. So FRL here, we have two splits. We're running split two now. We run split one after. You're going to be seeing 18-minute qualifying session, 50% race. I am Bradley. I am the commentator here at FRL. We're flying solo this weekend. Syntex had some personal stuff come up, couldn't make it. 80 Gamer couldn't make it, so we're rolling solo for the weekend. You're going to get tired of my voice, but I'm sorry. I love you all in advance. Looking at some different stats here from last week. Last week was a lot of fun. Last week, round 5, we were in Canada and Spaghetti Mafia, the crowd favorite, the love of FRL Split 2, finally brought home a win after a string of bad luck. He brought home a win with weather, of course, playing a factor because it's FRL. When does weather not make a mess of the situation? Ofsky was in second place. Wasserschwein finished P3. Senor finished P4. Crash 5. Gamer in P6. Ignis 7. Buchik 8. Kushor 9. And Vixie in P10. Looking through, had a few DNFs. Weather was not kind to people. It was still a great race. Drivers list this weekend. We're running a 16-car grid, so we do have a few open slots. If you're interested in joining FRL, check out the description below and join in on the Discord. Jump in. You just got to post a couple things, and then you're good to go there. This is a little bit of a behind the scenes that everyone's going to get. This is everything that we set up in advance, usually, before we go. And if you're curious, we're racing at Saudi Arabia this weekend, or Jeddah, whatever you want to call it. That's where we're running. And I have no clue what to expect this weekend. I know nothing about this. So, the cat made an appearance in the back. I'm gonna get rid of this webcam because you're not here to see me, you're here to see the race. So, let's go. Let's see who's going to do what, how this is going to go. Looking at some different stats here, as far as drivers championship is concerned, Wasserschwein is leading in a dominating way right now. Well, not dominating, but he's had really good consistency. Dominating is the wrong word to use there. He's just had really strong consistency so far. Looking through at Constructors Championship, though, Aston Martin overtook Haas. Haas has been leading so far, even though Haas has a few podiums, a couple of DNSs coming in from Yuri, and Haas has unfortunately cost them and put them down into second place, 3 points behind Aston Martin. McLaren in P3, so it'll be fun to kind of watch and see what happens here. Saudi Arabia is, of course, the newest track here in F1 and a new track for us here in FRL. We've ran some fun practice races here, but we don't really know what to expect. I don't really know what a good lap time is. Of course, Saudi Arabia, a very flat, straight track, high speed with just two hairpins, really, a few little weird chicanes to throw things around, but don't really know what's going to happen here. As we can see, Fishu is the first car out on track, and I really want to stick along with him just because I want to see exactly where the first car sets and kind of see how that'll dictate the pace. Jeddah, of course, has, we'll see if I can remember off the top of my head, 6.1 kilometers, 50 laps is a full race, 25% for a single race. Fishu decided he didn't want to set a lap there, so he is back in. We'll jump on with Tipalve. He's got a few cars in front of him, but we'll see what happens there. Lap record is a 130.7 from Lewis Hamilton, of course, because Lewis Hamilton runs it all. Why wouldn't he? But kind of looking here at the moment, it looks so far like the drivers are just kind of relaxed. I can't tell if Topalve is on a flyer or not. We'll kind of jump on with him and watch. This is the section. And as you can see, that's going to be the section where it costs people. That first sector is going to be where it really hurts. 27 turns overall. And unfortunately, it looks like the first six are going to be the issue. Somebody already gets a 5-second grid penalty. Tipovetil purple in the first sector, even though he had that little bit of contact. Behind him is Vixie coming around. Vixie has been a strong driver so far this season. Very consistent. Hasn't been the fastest, but still lots of consistency under his belt, finishing every race at least 12th or higher. As we see, he comes around. I love the hard left-hander there in Sector 2. That is turn 13 on the track, and it's probably one of my favorite turns in Formula One, personally. Just look at this, though. I mean, no hesitation, just flying through. We'll jump on board with him here and just watch as he flies through. Ignis a 128.4, so obviously the real-life lap records don't make a difference. So I don't know what time we should be expecting for the top time. And Vixie puts in a 129.8, throws himself up into P2. Good time from the driver there. And we'll jump on board with Wasserschwein, who's coming around the third sector now and coming around into that sketchy turn 27, where, of course, we saw Max Verstappen throw away an amazing qualifying lap in real life F1. As Wasserschwein is flying through here, and Wasserschwein sets in a 129.6 for his first time. Godfather coming around in the third sector here. As we see other drivers setting times through, we do have Puchaz and Bernard joining us now, reserve drivers as well here in Split 2. I love seeing debuts of new drivers every week because it gives opportunities for more drivers to get involved with FRL and show off pace and see what they can do. Godfather with a 133.2, a few seconds off the pace, but for a first lap out on mediums, probably just getting a siding lap, as I'm sure a lot of these drivers don't like this track. If you're me, I don't like this track. So Gamer comes across the line there and he puts in a 131. Looks like Fishu is out on a flying lap though. We'll jump on board with him here as he goes through the first sector. And this section is personally the sketchiest for me. I have a very hard time keeping it in track limits there, but it looks like Fishu does a beautiful job coming through there. Fishu coming around turn 13 there, flying. I mean, just sending it at this point. And you can see, looks like one of the drivers just completely stopping on track. It looks like that was either off ski or Gamer just completely stopping on track for him. Lots of respect shown here in FRL between these drivers. They love to make sure that they stay out of the way of other drivers here. Fishy on a set of softs at the moment, coming through the third sector, looking really good, right on the edge of limits as he comes around there through, I believe that is turn 24, 25. And now he comes around turn 26, which I don't know why all of these are called turns, to be honest, because half the time it feels like a straightaway here in an F1 car. As he comes across the line here, the AlphaTauri of Godfather dives in front of him. Fishy sets up fifth place time of a 129.6. Very strong. Only drivers who haven't set a time yet are the Red Bulls of Tipove and Buchik. We'll jump on here with Buchik, who has invalidated his lap, so he still won't be setting a time. And Tipove is on an out lap. Let's see here. As Tipove comes across the line, we're going to jump on board with him and just enjoy the raw speed. I mean, it's just amazing to watch as these drivers go through, especially some of the control that these drivers have. It's just amazing to watch. I really enjoy it. Coming around here as he comes around turn 13 to go back through the middle sector. It's awesome to watch here. We'll see how he holds the middle sector into the third sector. Nine minutes left here in qualifying at the moment, and it's very, very fun to watch. Depova coming around the third sector here, and what is the time that he's going to put in as he comes around? He's looking really good. He puts himself up into P8 with a 130.6. Good time there from Topove. Not the best, but not the worst. I'm sure there's plenty of room to improve there as Buchik is in the pits. Buchik. I don't really know how to pronounce that. We're going to stick with Buchik. And if that's wrong, someone tell me here as we jump on board with Ignis at the moment, who's coming around. Ignis with a 128.4. Very, very impressive time coming in from him. Coming around here, first sector. I mean, looking really strong. We'll see if he improves his time here any, because he seems to be on an absolutely great lap at the moment. 3 seconds down, so not the best. Spaghetti Mafia, crowd favorite. Let's jump on board with him here. He's already invalidated his lap. I'm guessing the first sector got to him, so we'll see if he slows down and decides to go in for another lap. Spaghetti Mafia, a driver that hasn't had a lot of luck here in FRL. But when he puts it together, he's the crowd favorite. Everybody loves Spaghetti, so everybody loves Spaghetti Mafia. For some reason, it doesn't surprise me. Spaghetti Mafia is P3 in the Drivers' Championship. 15 points behind Senor and 22 points behind Wasserschwein. So, if Wasserschwein and Senor have a bad race and Spaghetti can bring it home on the podium, it is possible that Spaghetti could put himself back up into first place. Going through here. I'm just looking around trying to see what drivers are on what here. Crash is out on a flying lap, and he is doing really, really good work at the moment as he comes around. As the drivers in front of him are pitting, that's going to open up the track. What time does Crash put in? Crash puts in a 129.0, a tenth up, but not enough to improve himself any, so he is still going to hold on to P4. Wasserschwein purple in the first sector, so we'll jump on board with him and enjoy this little run that Wasserschwein is going to have. Wasserschwein, your driver's champion here, who has had a great season, 3 podiums under his name, and every finish at least 7th place or higher. He's going to be looking to continue his consistency and high place finishes here in this round 6 of FRL as he comes around purple in the middle sector, 8 tenths up at the moment. Very, very scary time as he goes past there the AlphaTauri that moves out of his way there in the third sector. He's coming around. I mean, just look at the speed he's carrying, almost 200 miles an hour as he comes around to go down into turn 27, capping out at 198 is what I saw. for just a split second. Comes around, great rotation out of the final corner, and he is going to just send it down the straightaway. And what time is he going to put in here as he comes across? He puts in a 128.6, loses it just in the third sector there, just a little bit of loss in the third sector, which unfortunately for Wasserschwein sets him into P2, 2 tenths down after his purple first and second sector. Bernard here, we'll jump on board with him. Haven't talked about Ferrari yet so far. Ferrari running two reserve drivers this weekend. Usually it would be Kushor and Velix, but Bernard and Puchaz are running for him. I think that's how you pronounce that. Again, I'm American. Polish is not my forte. I'm learning, but I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. So somebody's more than welcome to correct me in chat. As we come around here, Bernard in the third sector looking very strong, very consistent pace here. So far, he is P3 with a 128.9. We'll see when he comes around exactly what time he throws together as he comes through driver number 69 around turn 27, still looking great, just getting right on the edge of that wall as he comes down. DRS wide open. What time is he going to put in? Does he improve? He improves to a 128.849. However, that still holds him in to third place at the moment. We'll jump on board with his teammate here who is coming through the first sector. Going around here, turn 13, and you can see how the drivers just fling it through. Some of them going more wide than others. And it really depends, because sometimes when you go a little too wide there, you compromise your exit. I don't believe he's actually on a flying lap. I know it says he is, but it doesn't look like he is. We're going to jump with Topove here, who is coming across the line and puts in a 130.6, or his fastest time is a 136. Sometimes this game gets confusing. So we're coming around here, first sector. Let's watch Topove here as he flings it through a little bit wide there, but still in the bounds of track limits. As he comes around here, this hard left, double right, very easy to go off track here. As you can see, he almost does going there around turn 12. And then this is what I was talking about, the whole, you really have to watch how you exit here. You can exit a little bit tighter to have a little bit better run here, or you can take it really wide to try to carry speed, but then you risk hitting the wall, and then you have to worry about setting up for this corner, which that corner is, of course, turn 16 and 17. But looking really good, Topove is. Coming around 6 tenths up currently in the second sector, a personal best for him. You can see the drivers are just commanding control of the car at the moment as they go around. And he dives down into the final turn. You can see the tires of the stricken Senor back in the corner. Godfather is also out of the session as well. 133.2 is the best he can do. Ignis sets in a 127.9, and Topove comes across with a 129.7. So Ignis just setting his foot down and saying he wants to claim this track. At the moment, we're going to jump on board with Crash. Crash is right behind, I believe that is going to be Gamer. Gamer gets out of his way there as Gamer is on an out lap and Crash is on a flying lap at the moment. Crash coming around. Can Crash set a time in order to compete with Ignis as we see drivers continuing to move around here? Spaghetti Mafia up into P3 with a 128.7. Crash coming around the second sector at the moment, looking really strong coming through. And second sector, he is half a second up, almost 6 tenths. Purple in the middle sector. Crash looking very strong as he comes around here, the final couple of corners. And by final couple of corners, I mean he's still got another 20 seconds of a lap left. Jeddah's a very, very long street circuit coming around here, and it looks like he's not going to beat a 127.9, but what time can Crash put in? Crash sets a 128.2, sets himself up into second place. We'll jump on board with Wasserschwein as Wasserschwein's on an out lap, so as soon as he gets on his flying lap, we'll jump on board with him here. as we're going to jump on board here with Fishy. Fishy's invalidated his lap again, unfortunately. Fishy seems to be struggling to set a good lap. Gamer 2021 out on a flying lap at the moment. You can see first sector is going to be what makes or breaks for most of these drivers at the moment. Coming around there, you can see the Mercedes gets out of the way there of Gamer. Gamer looking very, very consistent. Again, Gamer is one of those drivers that's extremely consistent time in and time out. When looking at his stats, he's just constantly finishing his races when he races. He did run as a reserve last season. This season, taking a split two seat, and just when he runs through, very consistent constantly. Coming around the third sector, we'll stick with him for just another minute as we see what time he can throw through. And as he's coming around, Wasserschwein has just started his flying lap. So we'll jump on board with Wasserschwein as soon as we see what position Gamer throws in. Gamer coming around turn 27, looking really strong, couple of seconds down. So it looks like this may not be the fastest time for him. But is he going to improve is the big key. And he is going to set a 129.9, jumps himself into P11. Meanwhile, Wasserschwein's on a flyer. Coming around turn 13 here, he has the AlphaTauri to get out of his way. No issue there. So he comes around the second sector looking extremely strong. And he invalidates his lap, unfortunately, and that is qualifying over. So, unfortunately for Wasserschwein, no room to improve. All drivers are out at the moment. However, some drivers are out on used tires, so that means, unfortunate for them, it's possible that that could be over. We're going to follow Bernard as he comes around here. Just a couple minutes left here in qualifying. Bernard coming around here into the third sector, looking really strong. Drivers continuing to finish their laps, and not much improvement possible as we see the AlphaTauri still gets out of the way there of Bernard. Bernard coming around here, final corner. And we'll see what time the Ferrari driver can set in. Currently setting P6. It doesn't look like he's going to improve any. And he actually does improve up into P5, a tenth up. Kepa comes across the line. That is his over. And then the last driver to come around is Gamer 2021. And Gamer 2021 is going to set in a 129.6, 2/10 up. Sets himself into P10. And the last driver out is Ignis. Ignis invalidating his lap. So all we have to see is Ignis, who is taking his time and doing his victory run, as he knows he has secured pole here in round 6. So Ignis with a very dominating time here in Jeddah. The Williams driver of Ignis showing hands down why he is a fast driver. Very strong time coming out of him when looking at Ignis's stats so far this season. Ignis currently down in P16. His first race was last week in Canada, but showing extreme pace there, 3/10 up. Looking through the grid, everything is very close. You can tell a lot of this track just goes through the confidence the drivers have. And it's all about, do they feel that they are the strongest? We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll be on the formation lap here in FRL round 6. All right, and here we go. Formation lap setup. When looking at tire options, you can see Fishu out on the mediums, Butrick out on the mediums, Godfather and Senor also out on mediums. Rest of the drivers are going to be out on soft tires. As far as tire strategy, I don't really know. So this would be one of those moments where if AWS could tell me what the strategy is. And there we go. Soft to mediums or soft to hards. So it looks like the drivers on mediums going to try to run long and run softs in the end. Probably a good decision at the moment. I'm curious to see long term where this lands everyone. So looking around here, I don't have any predictions. I'll be honest with you. I have no predictions at the moment of how this race is going to go. So don't ask because I don't have an answer. But I know it's going to be exciting regardless of what happens. Let's see here who we think is going to win. Also, do we think Spaghetti Mafia is going to win? Because it's definitely a possibility. Spaghetti Mafia is everyone's favorite. I didn't have spaghetti for lunch. I am wearing a Williams Racing t-shirt though, so Ignis, I'm representing here. I support you. I am your fan. I know he's not listening to the stream, but I just had to say that. Coming around formation lap. Looks like so far formation lap's been pretty clean. No drivers disqualified from the formation lap. You can see all the drivers weaving, trying to get heat in their tires. As we come around here, Ignis is gonna be looking. He'll have the inside into turn one. He needs to get a good run into turn one in order to open up and have a little bit of space and set himself up for a very successful first corner in order to hold on to the lead. As Ignis warms up the grid and the rest of the drivers join in, Senor going to be in P16. Last driver coming in, and that is going to be the grid formed up. So we'll sit here and watch with Crash on board. Crash, Ignis, Wasserschwein, who is going to have the better jump as they come off the line. As the drivers are set here, everyone's locked into their grid position. And we are going to have 5 red lights, and we are going to be underway. Quick red light drop here for round 6 here coming in, and you can see lots of swerving going on in the back there, and it looks like that is going to be Fishy who has to do a major swerve. Coming around here, though, Crash is going to get the lead off of Ignis, but Wasserschwein right behind. As we look around there, the Ferrari Bernard and Spaghetti Mafia, and there is a major crash there in the backfield. And that is going to be a major wreck out of the first couple of corners. And that is Spaghetti Mafia, who has lost out big time there. But the rest of the drivers are still out and going. Nobody, thankfully, DNFing. But Crash has ran away here with the lead at the moment. Ignis in P2, Wasserschwein there in P3. P4 is Youngies now. Mercedes drivers both moving forward. Puchaz is in P5, Tipove P6. And you can see the drivers that started at the front, unfortunately losing out majorly, but Senor very happy as he's going to be up in P12. As we come around turn 13, everyone gets away as we're going around here. And it looks like Ignis is thinking about trying to have a dive here on Crash in the middle sector. They're coming around. Ignis very, very close behind in the slipstream. He's thinking about a peak. He backs out of it just a little bit as they come around here. Ignis purple in the middle sector on this first lap as they are going to come around. He's going to have a peek around the outside here as he goes by. They're going to be side by side, and is he going to have the pass done? Who is going to back out of it? Crash doesn't back out of it. Crash dives it up the inside. Ignis is going to try the old switcheroo back around the inside after he had the outside, and they are going to be dragging down the front straightaway. Crash trying to get this position, and Ignis trying to hold on. Ignis with a little bit faster of a run, and Ignis is going to hold on to P1 here after the first lap, but Crash is not going to let this be easy, as we've seen coming around here. And Wasserschwein back in P3 is not going to let either of these drivers go, but for the first lap, Spaghetti Mafia, the big loser at the moment. You can see lots of drivers in the pits. It looks like the whole back half of the field. Senor, both Ferraris, Buchik and Spaghetti, all having to pit there after that major turn 1 carnage. And what an amazing battle from Ignis and Crash we just saw. I wonder if the grid will kind of relax any, but I have a strong feeling that we're going to be watching this battle for just a while here. We'll jump back though, because Vixie and Fishu and Offski are all very close together as well. Bernard and Spaghetti are still in the pit. Spaghetti Mafia going to hard. Spaghetti Mafia will have to run those hard tires to the end of the race. Bernard going on to medium, so he's going to commit to another pit stop in the race. The moment as we see Vixie trying to chase down Kepa, and he's going to have a dive around the inside here, and it is not going to be close enough, so he's going to back out of it, get back in the slipstream at the moment. No DRS for 2 laps, of course, so DRS will be available after this lap. As he thought about having a peak there, he's going to push Kepa just to go a little bit wide there, and Kepa trying to hold on to it. Kepa might have hit the wall there, and is that going to open up for Fishu to get around? Fishu is going to have a run as well, as Kepa had such a compromised exit. So Kepa losing 2 positions there in 1 corner, unfortunately, due to a tight battle there with Kepa. And Ignis with a 132.3 continuing to improve. DRS now enabled this lap, so that's going to open up for some great passes. We can see a strong battle here. Crash and Ignis still dueling it out, and I have a strong feeling that this is going to go on for a long time, as we see Crash very late on the brakes there, but a little too late. Allows Ignis to get a great run as they come through the first sector. Crash looking very strong here in the first sector. Ignis maybe running less downforce so he can have better straight line speed, but that is compromising himself in the first sector, as we can see Crash continuing to gain, and Wasserschwein right behind, and Youngi's right behind as well. Vixie getting a 3-second time penalty for what I would imagine is corner cutting as we come through here. And you can see Crash not letting this go at all. Coming around here, glorious aerial view as they come through the middle sector into the third sector. You can see just how beautiful this track is as you look here around Saudi Arabia and around Jeddah. This track is gorgeous. Crash diving up the inside here on Ignis with the help of DRS, so he is going to be through, but Ignis is going to continue to have a run on him as they go through. Ignis now has the DRS. Ignis is going to go around the left here, and Ignis is going to be passed before they hit turn 1, so Crash is going to just dive back in at the moment. Wasserschwein a little bit further behind. It looks like there may have been a little contact there between Ignis and Crash as they come around. Great battle here from the front 3 at the moment. Godfather having to go into the pits now, and it looks like he is opting to get off the medium tires early. I wonder if tire temps are playing a big concern here. Youngies now with a 3-second time penalty. I would imagine that's for corner cutting as well, as it says multiple warnings. As we come around here, Crash has a great run on Ignis. You can see the time starting to trickle down. He's getting closer and closer at the moment. Great run through the middle sectors from Crash. But the gap a little bit wider now than it has been so far these first 4 laps. Can Crash make up on that time? It is to be seen. We're going to jump back here into P9 though. Offski and Kepa having a great battle at the moment. Only a few tenths separating these drivers, and Offski probably has a great opportunity to get a run going through. Coming around here, DRS open for both drivers. Offski thinking about having a dive to the inside there, but not able to dive in close enough as they come through here. And it looks like Offski is going to be dropping back. Youngi's going into the pits at the moment, and we're going to continue to watch this battle for another lap or 2. It looks like Ignis and Crash and Wasserschwein still settling out here. Tepove up into P4 as Youngi's is into the pits. Youngi's opting for another set of soft tires. I wonder if there was any contact or damage there, which is why he decided to change out of tires. And it looks like Offski and Kepa at the moment are going to be settling down. Looking up here at the front of the field, it looks like Crash has a good run as they come around. Look at the way these cars are flying down this super tight circuit. We're lucky so far that no drivers have had anything chaotic happen. As we come around here, Crash is still trying to chase down Ignis. Coming around here, Crash is trying as hard as he can. And it's just a line of cars as we come around here. Unfortunately, it looks like at the moment Crash is going to have a great run, and for Ignis, that is going to be unfortunate as they come around. But Ignis is now going to have DRS on Crash. Can Crash get enough of a run here on Ignis in order to hold him off? Ignis DRS open. He's going to look inside, swipe back outside, Crash with a fastest lap. But can Crash get back past him here going into turn one? Crash settles back in. So for another lap, Ignis holds on to his lead. As they come through, we're going to jump on board with Campa, who it looks like is diving into the pits at the moment. I thought he had a good pass going, but he is into the pits, and we'll jump back with Crash as Crash tries to go around. And Godfather now retiring in the third sector after a major crash, and that is going to be our first safety car deployed here in round six. Unfortunately for the lead cars, they are halfway around the track at the moment, so they can't take advantage of a free pit stop. But we'll see if anybody else decides to pit in at the moment. And coming around, is anybody pitting? It looks like the only person to pit at the moment is going to be Bernard. Bernard going onto a set of mediums. So Bernard having to make a few pit stops so far in this race. As the drivers come around here, lap six, we've had some amazing action so far from Ignis and Crash at the moment. It has been very, very close. And I'm sure Wasserschwein, if you're Wasserschwein, you're celebrating to see this right now. And for the drivers who had opted not to go into the pits yet, which is everybody in the top seven, they're going to be very, very happy to see this as well. As into the pits, as predicted, all the lead cars are going. And we'll see what tires all of them opt for at the moment. We can see medium coming out for the Mercedes team here. What are the Williams going to put on? The Williams are opting for, it looks like a set of hard compound tires. A little bit of split strategy here. And what did Wasserschwein go to? A set of hards as well. So Crash opting to go to mediums a little bit early as we see Fishu coming around. Where is Fishu going to come out in all of this? Currently at the moment, it looks like Fishu is going to get B3 from here. But Fishu, of course, on an older set of mediums, the same mediums he started with. So as the grid starts to form up, it's going to be Ignis on Wasserschwein, on Fishu, on Crash, Ovsky, Tipove. It looks like Vixie coming out of the pits on a set of hards as well. So lots of split strategy so far from these drivers. I don't know what the best strategy is, but it's very, very great to watch so far as we see the drivers all opting for different splits. Safety car needs to speed up for these drivers on hard tires so they can keep the heat in. But Ignis being able to have enough of a gap that he is able to stay out. Lap 7 here, and we can see the grid starting to form back up. I think what's been interesting so far, for me personally, has been watching just how close all of these battles have been. Youngi's getting a 5-second penalty for a collision with Senor. So far, 7 laps in, and lots of action has definitely happened here. It's hard to say what the best strategy is or where things are going to finish. Of course, this resets, so no DRS for 2 laps after safety car. So if you're Ignis, you're going to be happy about that. If you're Wasserschwein, you're really going to want to try to have a run here. And unfortunately for Crash. Crash is now down into P4 on that fresh set of mediums. So it's going to be really interesting to see where things go. I think what's interesting to me so far is if we look at drivers who haven't pitted, the only driver that has yet to pit is Fishu, and Fishu is on 7 lap old mediums. So the strategy play from Fishu is he's going to commit to a one stop, it looks like, regardless of what that does. But realistically, if you were on the mediums, you're going to be running for to like lap 15 to 16, 15 to 18. So is he banking on another safety car, or is this a bluff strategy and a bad call from Fishu? As we come around here on lap 13, long laps here when you're under safety car. Typically now the cars would be crossing around turn 27 to hit the start finish line, and they're just now going through the middle sector. Haven't had the call of safety car in this lap yet. Usually that comes around the third sector. And as we go back under green flag racing, I am going to be watching this front battle here, as I'm sure Wasserschwein and Ignis are going to have a great run on each other, and it should be very exciting to watch here. As we come around, safety car now been called in this lap, which means Ignis is going to have control of the field here, but Wasserschwein is going to be raring to battle him here. As you can see, Wasserschwein trying to build up more heat in those hard compound tires, and just looking down at his tire temps, they're only around 80 degrees right now, front left in the 70s, versus Ignis, where it looks like his tires are fairly similar in temperature. So Ignis is going to be underway here. Ignis is slowing down a little bit though. So as it looks like he doesn't have enough of a gap to the safety car. Now he's going to be going, and that'll be a questionable speed up, slow down there that there may be a conversation about later. But at the moment, they're back underway, and it looks like Crash getting right around Fishu, and Crash diving it to the inside there, pushing Wasserschwein wide, trying to pull Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen there, going around, and they are side by side coming through. But it looks like Crash is going to have the advantage on Wasserschwein, so Crash taking advantage of the fresh medium tires right back up front. We talked about how Wasserschwein's tires were cold, and there it is as we see the advantage of the softer compound and the warmer tires. Looking down at the screen, Crash's tires very warm at the moment, and he is flying, and he's going to be directly after Ignis. 1.1 second the gap there as he had to fight through a little bit of traffic, and now he is going to be going, and he is going to be chasing down Ignis as we go through. Looking here at different battles, it looks like Tipove coming around here and getting past Senior, Fishu, and Youngies battling it out as well. Great battles coming through here in the midfield, and looking around, Spaghetti Mafia, the crowd favorite, unfortunately down at P15. I keep mentioning him because everybody loves Spaghetti, right? I feel like we need to print that on a t-shirt and sell it. I feel like that would be a bestseller. Coming around here as we go around middle sector, Crash already closing the gap down to 7/10 as they come around. So half a second now, he has a great run. Will he be able to make this pass happen and build up any sort of a gap before DRS opens? As we can see midfield, great battles going around as well. We'll jump back here. Actually, we won't jump back. We're going to stick with this as the gap is now half a second. Crash has a great run coming through. Senor in P7 trying to make a pass here on Tipove, and it looks like Senor is going to have the outside, and you can see behind him the Ferraris are battling out with the Red Bulls. Looking around, dives on the inside there from the Ferraris, and absolute carnage as Buchik gets spun there in P12. He is now back underway though. A little bit of a spin and gone. Ferraris are P9, P10 together. Ignis though, 6/10 of a second the gap. Crash running extremely wide as Crash is fighting to catch back up here. So far, gap settling around half a second for most of the drivers, holding on, holding steady. Doesn't look like any strong battles here. The Ferraris are very close, but I don't think the Ferraris are going to be inverting at all. Going on here, crash 6/10 of a second the gap on those medium tires. He needs to take advantage of having the better compound tire and hurry up and make a pass occur. Looking here in P9, it looks like Puchaz is going to be having a run here on Kepa if he can hold on to the track limits here. And can his teammate follow him right behind? His teammate seems to be a little bit faster. His teammate having to back out of it. It looks like his teammate's going to actually look to pass him now. Bernard looking on the outside here. And Kepa on the outside here as it looks like Puchaz is trying to have a run here. And Bernard is going to invert there as we see Topove up in the front trying to have a run on Senor again. Can Topove make the pass happen as he's going to have the inside line? He's going to break a little bit later, and lots of respect, lots of space there, and Topove backs out of it. And there is Wasserschwein, who has spun in the first sector. So Wasserschwein dropping back in the order now to P11, make that P12 as we see Topove trying to go through. And it looks like as far as Ignis and Crash are concerned, Ignis is continuing to hold the gap around 7/10 at the moment. Senor still battling with Topove here. A great battle between the Haas and the Red Bull driver as we see the AlphaTauri and the Ferrari behind them are battling as well. And it looks like for the moment, Senor is going to be holding on to P5. But not by much, and it looks like Senor is thinking about having a run here for P4 as he sees Fishu in front of him on those 10-lap-old medium tires, but Senor on 8-lap-old soft, so he needs to take advantage now or else he is going to be in trouble when it comes to his tires as they come around here, and they're going through, and Senor has the DRS, and Senor is going to look around the outside here. Senor is gone past him. Senor up into P4. And it looks like the Ferrari and the Red Bull are going to push Fishu 3 wide there. And who is going to come out on top between Bernard and Topove? It looks like at the moment it's going to be Topove, but I don't anticipate that's going to last for long. As we see Bernard on the inside, both drivers with DRS drag racing down the straight. And you can see Bernard has the inside a little bit more. Topove is going to brake hard. Bernard brakes a little bit later, and there's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. And it looks like Bernard still has the advantage, but they are still side-by-side coming down here through the first sector going around. And it looks like Topove is going to back out as Bernard's going to take advantage of track limits and cut a little wide there. A great battle. All these great battles occurring here as we see Topove struggling to keep his car inside the track. Awesome battles here from the midfield. Looking up front, though, Ignis and Crash have inverted places now. So it looks like while that battle was going on, Ignis and Crash able to invert there. And Crash now has a half a second gap going through. Looking at the moment, it looks like this battle is far from over. And Fishu's battle is far from over. He is only 3/10 back. Coming around. This is still my favorite thing. As we see Fishu and Topove battling, and that is the Ferrari of Bernard in front of them who is spun. He is very lucky to not DNF, and that is a VSC for debris on track. So if you are Fishu, you're going to be very upset because Fishu had a great run there on Topove and surely would have had the pass done. And looking up front, if you're Crash, you're going to hate this as well, as Crash was building up a bit of a gap on Ignis and looking through. Look at Spaghetti Mafia up into P7 at the moment, 10-lap-old hards with 12 laps to go. It is possible that he can make the hards last. It's going to be questionable, but he should be able to make it happen. But it is all time to be determined. Ignis and Crash looking around here. Half a second the gap. So whenever we come at a VSC, we'll see VSC will see exactly who is closer and who can take advantage of the run off a safety car. And it looks like Ignis is going to take advantage of that. Is Ignis is now only 3 tenths back. Crash did not have a great run. Yellow flag in sector 1. Looks like that's for a slow Alpha Tauri of Kappa, but they are back going. They are good. And look at that. Ignis and Crash inverting. It looks like Crash deciding to slow down so Crash can have the DRS on the main straight. Does Crash get the DRS here? Crash does have the DRS, so it looks like Crash and or Crash deciding to jam on the brakes and invert. A little bit of a Max Verstappen move there on Lewis. He is very lucky he didn't turn into a Hamilton and hit on the back there. As they come around, Ignis gets a little bit worse of a run, so it looks like Crash is going to be gone. But you can see in the mirror there, Crash is going to be right by him with the help of DRS. And Ignis back up into P1. But we know Crash has a strong run, so that means that Crash does have the possibility to keep going. Looking around here, and we see Spaghetti Mafia up into P6 as Youngies is now into the pit. So Spaghetti Mafia and Fishu side by side. Fishu still trying to have a run on Topalve at the moment, and it looks like this battle is going to also sort itself out for just a second. Something happened to Crash here, and Ignis now has a 9-second gap on Crash. It looks like Senor is going to have a tight run here on Crash as well. I'm not sure what happened there. I missed it, but it looks like, unfortunately for Crash, that could cost him a lot unless there's another safety car. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but glad to see that I've noticed it now. Crash running away here on Senor, gap up to 2 seconds. Looking through the field here, the McLarens of Fishu and Spaghetti are, of course, very close to each other. So the gaps in the field have all now widened out. Closest battle here is going to be Fishu on Tipove. And Youngies backing out of the session, possibly a connection issue. Topove and Fishu diving around. Fishu has the inside, Topove on the outside, and Topove on the hard compound tires. Cannot complete and hold on, so Topove is going to be behind Fishu, but Topove has DRS through the main straight, so Topove is going to have a dive here around the outside. He'll have the pass done before turn 1, but Fishu on the inside trying to fight back, but not close enough. Topove up into P3 as Senor pits for a fresh set of mediums. As we look here, the battle is still very close between Fishu, Topove, and Spaghetti. And you can see DRS here, and Topove is going to have a run on Fishu around the inside, but Spaghetti's on the outside there, and can Spaghetti Mafia hold on to it? Tipove is going to try to push him, but Spaghetti Mafia is able to make the pass done, and Spaghetti Mafia is going to invert with his teammate here, it looks like, as well, as they go side by side around through the middle chicane. Is that going to open it up for Tipove there to have a run? No, Fishu closes the door. Tipove has to back out of it, and there we go, McLaren up into P3 and P4 as we come through second sector into the third sector. The McLarens are going to try to run away here on Tipove before he can get DRS and try to have another attack the drivers. Spaghetti Mafia, after starting near the back, up into P3 now on 12 lap old hards. Will he be able to hold on to his tires to the end? Ignis with a 9-second lead on Crash, a very dominating run. And Fishu now diving into the pits to get off those 14 lap old mediums, and that is going to mean Tipove and Spaghetti Mafia is going to be the battle to watch here on screen, as there is an 18-second gap between 18 seconds, 9 seconds separating each of the top 3 drivers. So at the moment, the battle for P3 is what's going to determine the podium at the moment. Unless something crazy happens between Ignis and Crash, this is FRL. Count nothing out. Tipove with a 2/10 of a second run here and DRS open. Will Tipove be able to make a pass on Spaghetti? Spaghetti goes very defensive very late, and Tipove has to back out of it. Tipove having a little bit more of an arch in the run, a little bit wider of an apex, and Tipove not able to make the pass at the moment, and he is coming around here coming into the second sector around. Great battles between these drivers. As we see them coming around second left-right-hander here, where we've seen many crashes, such as what happened to Mick Schumacher. Coming around, Topova has DRS at the moment, and he's going to look. Is he going to dive up the inside? He thought about it, and he decided not to, and holds on to DRS for another straightaway. DRS open again here for Topova on Spaghetti. And he's looking, he's looking, he's looking, he's on the inside. And they are now wide, and Spaghetti cuts it wide there and shuts the door on Topove. Thank you very much. As Topove gets loose there, and that means Topove is going to have to settle for another lap behind Spaghetti Mafia. So the battle for P3 not over yet. Looking back though, lots of great battles going on in the midfield. Looking through, it looks like Buchik and Puchaz having a great battle here as they come around, and it looks like the gap here is only 2 tenths. You can see the Ferrari trying to chase down the Red Bull as much as they can. And for the time being, it looks like the Red Bull has the advantage here on the Ferrari, but close battle here for P7. Still not over. And Fishu down in the P9. Will Fishu be able to get a run up and take off a little bit? And Topove and Spaghetti passing each other here. Spaghetti now down in the P4. Topove gets the run in the middle sector. It looks like Spaghetti may have had a little bit of an error, but Spaghetti's going to have DRS coming through here. So will Spaghetti be able to get the pass done? You can see 196 miles an hour as they come around here, side by side, and Spaghetti's going to keep it wide here, and it looks like that is going to serve him the advantage of going through. Topove now has DRS though, and if Spaghetti can hold on through this straight, that means Spaghetti is able to hold on to P3 again, going very, very defensive here. Wide move here, and Spaghetti has the inside, Topove on the outside. Topove opting to not try to stick there around the curb. And Senor now into the pits, only on 2 lap on mediums. I wonder if Senor got some damage there. Spaghetti Mafia holding on to P3 at the moment, but Topove back in P4. Very, very close behind him, trying to catch up as fast as he can. As they dive around the inside here around turn 13. It looks like at the moment that is not going to do it. Buchik having a run on Ofsky here. And will he be able to make the pass? He does make the pass with DRS. And Ofsky just reserves back into P7 at the moment. Wasserschwein, who had a great start to the race, now down into P12. Unfortunately for Wasserschwein, had such a great run so early in the race, and a mistake costing him down into P12. I have a feeling that Crash's medium tires are starting to run, and then unfortunately for Crash, that is why he is dropping so far back now and not able to build up any sort of a gap. Looking at Spaghetti Mafia and Topove here. Topove has DRS coming around, but not close enough for a pass. Gets the gap down to 3 tenths. Will Topove be able to make the pass on this occasion? He cuts the turn a little bit different in order to try to have a little bit more straight line speed as they come around. Unfortunately for him, he is going to drop back here, and he is not going to have the run that he wants to. He's going to still try to look up the inside, but he's not close enough. So for another lap, Spaghetti Mafia is able to hold on to P3. Looking through the field here, Kepa and Bernard having a battle here in the third sector. Bernard is going to have DRS. Kepa's trying to go extremely defensive, though. Bernard with DRS, able to get the pass done. You can see charging the ERS there. And Kepa trying to dive back in as he wanted another run around the inside. And unfortunately for him, on this occasion, Bernard is going to have the advantage on Kepa and be able to hold on. Looking to Topove, though, only a 10th off there. He has DRS. He has the dive. Spaghetti Mafia, Topove side by side as they come around there. Turn 13, and Spaghetti Mafia runs the turn a little bit wide, but that's going to give him a good run around the inside. Side by side is the McLaren and the Red Bull as they come around right here on the chicane. How are they going to do it? And Spaghetti Mafia, Tokyo drifts around, and Topove is now going to be able to build up a wide gap. And unfortunately for Spaghetti, that means he's going to lose DRS as we see He thinks he's in Rallycross. Unfortunately, Spaghetti, this is Formula One. Down in to P4, Spaghetti has to reserve two. We'll see if he's able to build up another gap here as we look. Coming around the third sector, will Spaghetti have DRS or will he lose DRS here and have to sit back? And will he be able to make up the gaps? And Spaghetti Mafia down to 1.5 seconds. We're going to jump on board with Buchik here, who has the DRS and is going to look here to try to get around the Ferrari driver of Puchaz here on the front straight. As he comes around here, he has the DRS, and you can see extremely swerving driving going there from the Ferrari. And for Buchik, that means he is going to have to back out and hold on for just another occasion and follow through the first sector. A very, very strong swerve there from the Ferrari, trying to hold on there to P5. And at the moment, he does. NC Spaghetti Mafia has the gap under a second and does have DRS here. So we'll jump back when Spaghetti Mafia is a little bit closer to getting that pass done. Behind here, Fishu and Ofsky back in the battle for P7, having a great battle here. Ofsky running a little wide here, and Ofsky on 11 lap old hards as Fishu's on a fresher set of softs. So looking here, Fishu trying to have the run through the middle sector, not close enough at the moment, but close enough that this should be a pass he can get done soon with the help of DRS in the third sector. Spaghetti Mafia has his gap down to 0.3 of a second, 0.2 as he opens up DRS. Coming around, he's going to look around the outside here of Sepulveda. And the pass is done, but Sepulveda is going to be having a run back here. If he can get a good exit, a bad exit though out of the final corner. So that means for Sepulveda, he has a little bit less of a run as we see DRS open, but not close enough at the moment. It looks like he's backing out a little bit potentially, and he does not have the run. He will have to reserve to P4 and give Spaghetti Mafia P3 again. But this battle is far from over as we see Buchik gets past Puchaz there into P5. So the Red Bulls P5 and P4 at the moment. Lots of very, very close battles happening all through the field. Just 4 laps to go here in FRL. As I come around, Spaghetti Mafia now taking a 3-second time penalty. When we look at penalties here, it looks like 3 seconds for Spaghetti, 3 seconds for Sepulveda, 6 seconds for Ignis. So if Crash can close that gap to 6 seconds, that means Crash would have the victory. Puchaz has a 3-second penalty, and then lots of 3 seconds, 6 seconds. Gamer has 5, Vixie has 9. So at the moment, that is all set up for the winners and losers. Wasserschwein and Youngies both losing out big time. Buchik gaining big time, though, up 8 places from his starting position, even with 3 pit stops from the Red Bull driver. As we look here, Sepulveda and Spaghetti Mafia still battling. The battle's still extremely close as we come through DRS here. The first DRS zone in the third sector, and then the DRS on the main straight. DRS open. Sepulveda looking, backing out a little bit here, saving it for the next straight. Sepulveda getting a much better run here, but Spaghetti still getting a better run through that final corner that it looks like Sepulveda is able to manage. Sepulveda having the run, Spaghetti going defensive and holding the inside, and for Spaghetti that works because that means he can control the pace of the chicane, and for another lap, Sepulveda is going to be behind Spaghetti Mafia. As we look here, jumping back at the battle for P5, Buchik and Puchaz have now replaced each other again. Senor retiring from the session. I don't know if that is a wreck or what that is. It looks like he's down in the pits at the moment. We're going to jump on board with Gamer quickly to see if we can tell what's happened here. If he's in the pits, he is. He has just retired out from the race entirely. Ignis, 9.5 seconds the gap here, and then 22 seconds the gap between Crash and Spaghetti. Sepulveda a half second back though, so Spaghetti not able to build the gap here, but for Sepulveda and Spaghetti, it is still going to be 3 laps of carnage. And as we watch this battle come through into the next DRS zone, Topove 4/10 of a second the gap. He has the DRS run. Can he get the pass done on Spaghetti Mafia? Spaghetti opting for the outside in this corner. And it looks like Topove just isn't close enough into a corner in order to make the pass and hold it. Topove, you can see his exits of corners are very, very swirly. As we just watch the traction difference between Spaghetti here and Topove, watch. Spaghetti is just gone, and for Topove, there's a little bit of a wiggle in the rear end. So unfortunately for him, he's not able to get a good enough exit in order to compete here. And as we watch Buchik and Puchaz battling here, and it looks like Buchik does have the pass done at the moment. And the Ferrari driver, though, trying as hard as he can to stay close here. Couple laps left here in round 6, and it's a very, very close battle still. Yeah, the Ferrari driver opting to go a little bit wider on track limits, DRS open. He's going to look around the inside here of turn 13, but isn't close enough at the moment, and he's still there side by side, though. But has to back out of it due to horrible traction coming through turn 13. And looking here, Spaghetti and Topave, the gap 3/10 of a second now. And it looks like Topave has a great run through the third sector, but isn't close enough in order to convert. Spaghetti Mafia on 5-lap older hard tires and still able to defend against Topove here. And you can see at the moment it looks like Crash on a fresh set of softs, knowing what the gap was. It looks like Crash is going to be going for fastest lap, and there's that traction difference I was talking about. I don't know if it's something Topove is doing, but Spaghetti is just able to get such a good run going through. And Topove is going to look to the outside here. He's closer now than he has been, and they're side by side, and there's a little bit of contact coming through, but it looks like Topove backs out after that contact. No damage to the front wing that I can see. And it looks like for Spaghetti Mafia, that means he is going to be holding on to third place for another lap here, 2 laps to go. Yellow flag sector 1. It looks like that is going to be for a Mercedes driver at the moment. Looking through here, half a second the gap, and continuing to build between Spaghetti and Topove here for the final podium place. Let's see, just looking at fastest laps at the moment, it looks like fastest lap held by Senior with a 131.0. Of course, Senior DNF though. So it looks like Crash is going to be building up here as Ignis is starting the final lap. Major gaps being built up between the drivers here. So final lap starting. And Spaghetti and Crash are not done with each other here, as we have a ghosted out Mercedes in the middle of them. Coming through, Spaghetti Mafia starting the final lap, holding on to P3. Ignis going around turn 13 at the moment, as large of a gap as Ignis has built. Coming around here through the first sector, you can see Ignis though so far gone at the moment. There's nothing stopping him. Coming around second sector and around turn 13, you can see Topove and Spaghetti are not done with each other in the slightest. We'll jump on board here with Ignis as Ignis is rounding the final corner. A race of domination. You can see just a relaxed cross of the finish line at the moment as Ignis comes around to win his second race in FRL. Now we'll jump back here. Spaghetti Mafia and Topove are not done with each other. What is going to be the strategy play as they come through the third corner here? Is Spaghetti going to reserve it to give up to give DRS to himself to try to hold on to Tepove here as they come around third sector, first DRS zone. Does Tepove have the run? Tepove looking as hard as he can. You can see the ERS light is on Spaghetti Mafia. Spaghetti's going to shut the door as hard as he can here and push Tepove all the way to the wall to compromise his exit. Tepove's going to spin out of the final corner, and that is going to cost Tepove possibly more than just P4. The Spaghetti comes around P3. Tepave is P4. Fishu into P5. And unfortunately for Tepave, so close to having that position, and that is over. What an amazing battle, though. What a great run there. And congratulations, Ignis. Such a dominating win. Buchik, driver of the day. Well deserved. And for Ignis, that P16 in the Drivers' Championship is going to be very, very different there. So, looking at the finishes here, what a great run that was. Ignis, that battle for P3 between Spaghetti, that was impressive. That was such a great battle to watch. Congratulations to the podium here running through. That was a great, great fight. So, looking here, Spaghetti and Tepove battling. Such a great battle. Ignis finishing P1. Fishu, Buchik, Kepa, Ofsky, Pushaz, Wasserschwein, Bernard, Gamer, Youngies, Vixie. What great runs there. And of course, Senor and Godfather both DNFing out, unfortunately. But great runs there. And Crash does secure the fastest lap in the end with a 129.9. So Crash will take home those extra points for fastest lap as well. Great runs there from these drivers here in Split 2 of FRL. Split 1 of FRL starts in about 20 minutes. Hang out with us, enjoy some music. We'll be back with you here shortly to dive into Split 1.